Morning, everybody. How are we doing this morning? Let's see. Throw that down so I can see myself. It's gonna be with the lighting. It is what it is. How are you, everybody, doing this morning? Hope everything's okay. It is what it is. Turn my sound down in the background. Mm. Oh, got a donate button at the top. Are you learning Linux? What happens when I click on that, D? I just go to channel. Oh, I don't get a donation. It just say go to channel. Let me go to channel. Then what? It just take me to the channel. It don't give me the option to donate. Hmm. I'm saying. I'm just looking at it. Oh, I see the little thingy. It's a drop down thing. Don't click on the three dots. Don't click on the three dots. D, how you doing? We're late because of D. It's her fault. I don't know why she's sending me stuff. She know I'm a ding. Here we're late because of D. Don't blame me. Blame D. You know D is the party pooper. Just want y'all to know that. Don't blame me. Blame D. Ezra, how you doing? I'm 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 just a casualty of war on this here. What's going on, Melissa? How you doing? Melissa, did you have fun the other night? We're gonna have to uh get you out of the project manager role now. Melissa, it's time for you to go join the security team. Gotta switch y'all up. Y'all are getting comfortable. Yeah, this is the segment of the show called Blaming on D. This is correct. These are facts. You should put hashtag facts. Hashtag facts. Yeah, let me help you out. Let me put it in the chat. Hashtag facts. Let me do that. Hashtag facts. Yes. Hashtag facts. Yes. Blame it on D. D is the reason why we're late. She's always the reason why we're never on time. Okay? All right. You know why? She'll be like, one side is this, one side is that. You need to do this. I like you be doing too much. I'm doing good to get up, get dressed, get all my thoughts on paper, get in the show. Then she got like 50,000 things she be wanting you to do. I be like, D, this is too much. This is too much, D. I can't do this in the morning like this. There's only one thing I came to do is sit down and share my thoughts and show new discovery. D be like, oh, the lighting, this, the sound. I be like, D, it's too much. It's too much. Yes, because you be the first thing complaining. You be the first thing. Look, she finna fall out when I do this. She gonna be like, did you pick your show? Did you pick your hair out on the show? She was like, one side is shorter than the one side. It's just not as big as I can't help it. One side grow longer than the other. Can't help that. D, you're gonna have to find me some pieces to put in on that side. I know. Katie, what's going on? Crystal, long time no see. How you doing? Kevin, good morning. Yeah, we got some tasks. I got some tasks for you. All things Nata Jean, how you doing? That's what I say. Wakanda forever, right? This is what you got to do with D. Be like, no, it's not what we're doing. It's what we have to do. I hope y'all had a good week. For those of you that I met last weekend on Erica Williams boat ride and winery, welcome back. The producer, listen to this list. Look at this. Look at this. I'm trying to do my best. I'm the producer, production assistant, hairstylist, camera lady. Shall I go on? Go on, D. Go on with these lies. Like Teddy Riley, lies. Oh, lies, lies. Tell them lies from me now, D. Jam. Doom, 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 doom. Go on, D. All remotely. Anyway, um, I got, I got, I got more stuff for y'all today. I don't know how do we want to open up today? I'm gonna let y'all decide this morning on how we want to open up. Do we want to talk more about? Um, do we want to start off with private foundations? That's right. No estate, no date shirt is on. That is correct. The T-shirt, I got it on. You can go to the website and get it. Um, see, thank you. You too can have a shirt now. The shirts are out there. Um, so the question is, do you want to start with? Um, do you want to talk about open up with stock splits? Do we want to open up with private foundations? I got some more info on that. Do we want to talk about uh, student loans, student loan forgiveness? I see everybody has been a hot topic for everybody. Everybody is like, I don't want to pay for blah 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 blah. I don't want to do it. No, you can't. We shouldn't be paying for your degrees that you chose to get, and blah 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 blah. Right? I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. Right? I went to 7 different colleges and took out student loans. By the time I was done, I had $60,000 that I had to pay back. Probably more like 63,000 to pay back. When it was time, took a loan out from my 401k and paid it off. So those that are getting their loans forgiven, and I went to DeVry, and he just now gave loan forgiveness for DeVry, like a year ago or something like that, or earlier this year. I've lost track. I know the people who went to ITT Tech, they got their loans forgiven. But, am I mad because people getting their loans forgiven? No. I just hope people just take the money that they're able to take from student loans and go and make an investment into something else, right? Or catch up on other bills or pay their other bills off, right? There's so many other things that we be complaining about somebody degree, this, that, and other. We complain about paying for degrees. We complain about paying for welfare. We complaining about everything, right? What you gonna do about it, right? Make some more money, keep it pushing. For all the money that they're forgiving and whatnot. I just hope people become better versions of themselves and have more money to get going. D, what you said, we already opened up. Did you want to do a word for my sponsor, or we just gonna keep it moving? All right, D said keep it moving. All right. All right, so I'll give the short version of it. If you want to find us on social media, you can find us throughout social media at Women in Linux. If you're looking for T-shirts and so forth, hit the shop button on our website. You'll find our T-shirts. No estate, no date. Linux money. One skill away from 200K. I saw Sasha bought a shirt, 1 skill away from 200K. She posted it in the Slack channel. We'll be updating Slack pretty soon. I got some stuff that I want to work on um, as well too for some stuff that I think will help us out. What's going on, Liz? How you doing? I also want to say if you haven't joined our Slack, hit the connect button on womeninlinux.org. It'll drop you into Slack. You'll have to put in your email address. You can use Slack, the Slack app, or you can use it in the web browser. I prefer the web browser because it's just less resource heavy for me, and then go from there. Yeah. Donald Watt said, "I don't understand why people trip over this loan forgiveness thing. The government wastes money." Yeah, I'm not going. I'm, you know, I can go on, right? So let's get started. I have a few things here on my other site that uh, we can get started with. All right. So I was looking because now we are talking about what the I had a conversation this week. As Thursday night, we was having a conversation, and the conversation was more or less like, do you need to go to college to be successful? And the concern was, what is the younger generation going to do? And I think this narrative happens often, right? Every generation has this narrative, right? Uh, and let me say this: every when I say every generation has this narrative, meaning when you graduated from high school, most of you probably between 16 and 18, depending on how advanced you were, when your birthday fell, when your mama enrolled you in school, so forth and so on, right? I don't know. Do they still register you to vote in high school? Do they come to the school still and have you sign up? Because that's how I got signed up to register to vote. Is they came to school and they had us go in and fill out the form to be registered to vote. Right. That's how I got registered at school in high school. So I guess my question is always, and D and I talked about this before too, is that everybody say you're gonna go to college, and sometimes you get good high school counselors, and sometimes you get bad high school counselors, and sometimes you get counselors that are just there, right? And then you graduate. You hopefully you did some type of some college prep classes, or you taking the ACTs, SATs, or you decided you're going to go into the military, or you're going to go do something for the summer, right? And usually people gravitate towards people they are around, right? If your mom and dad both worked at Ford or General Motors, you gravitated towards that. If your mom and dad worked as a nurse, you gravitated towards that. Or if somebody was a dentist, you gravitated towards that. You gravitated towards what was in your environment that looked like they doing it. Why can't I do it, right? And then you have, I don't necessarily want to call people outliers because I don't consider myself an outlier. My mom worked for the Social Security office, and she just applied for retirement last week. This week, actually. Last week. So, and she's 74. But I never wanted to work at the Social Security office. I didn't want to do state jobs. I went applied for state jobs, and I was just like, this doesn't seem like very mentally stimulating. Let me say that. I worked at General Motor and Fords, and I found that I needed jobs that were mentally stimulating. So you had to figure out what jobs would be mentally stimulating, or something that you could actually get into it and break things down, right? And one of the biggest things I see right now is people trying to figure out where to put their kids at. Not only are people trying to figure out, well, how can I guide my kids? They're trying to figure out how to guide themselves too, right? So it's I don't want to refer it to like we call Gen Xers the squeeze generation, but I want to say most parents are probably being squeezed right now, right? And that's from multiple generations. Meaning, there's a set of parents that want to pivot and do something in tech, but yet maintain the household. And then they have children that they're raising, and they want their children to do something, and they want them children to do something in tech, but they're not really sure where to put them at in tech, or who to introduce them to, or where they should be, or what that should look like. So right now, it's like it's a flux, right? And truth be told, let's be honest, the adult parent and the child could both be in the same classroom if we really want to be honest about it. You both could be sitting down learning cloud security or Linux or something like that. Like we're just at that crossroads right now where both parent and child could both be doing the same thing. Let's be, if we want to be honest about it, you both could be uh, developer's advocate. You both could be learning programming. You both, the whole house could. Right? It's where we're at in the flux of life right now. But not only in that flux are we both child and parent and people around you learning maybe the same thing. You're also in a situation where you're all in a situation where food is high, the cost of living is going up. The a migration is actually happening from moving to from certain cities to certain from other states to another state as well too, right? So there's that flux, and then um, there's also the flux of um, people who have lived in these cities like the New Yorks, the LAs, the San Franciscos, want to move to other cities but live in the suburbs of those cities, such as a suburb of Houston or of Dallas or so forth and so on. And on top of all of that, the child doesn't want to move from their what they know, their friends, right? But they need the support of their parents. But they also need money, right? They also need money and trying to find their way. So it's a very interesting time that we're in. And I don't know if people can identify with that, but that's what I've been seeing. So so how do we help those? How do we help each other, right? How do we help those parents? How do we help those children? How do we help those parents that want to make a transition? How do we help those parents that are just trying to not just maintain? Because I think at this point now we got to stop trying to maintain. I think we need to thrive. It's not a thing. It's what I know. And go from there. JM, you said what does no estate no date mean? Mm, yeah, it's possible to read. I don't think it's never a time not to re-enter. In fact, we did an interview. I'm gonna answer that question, JM, in a minute. Um, you can re-enter back in the 50s, right? It depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to be a sales engineer, if you want to do sales, if you want to do cloud security, I just don't see on the infrastructure side the issues that I think you would probably see on the programming side, right? I don't see that because infrastructure, networking, is they're timeless, right? They're timeless. I got I got email this week like, hey, can you come oversee some Linux sysadmins to help train them up. Or you get that. Thank you for the $30 anonymous donation. Thank you. Um, we we see that, right? Um, and I'm gonna bring up some stuff today that we're gonna talk about and see. You'll understand where I'm coming from with this. But I don't see somebody being 50 and not able to work. Like our life expectancy is a lot longer. So I'm seeing we're seeing people, you know, I've been seeing across like different TikToks and YouTube channels and stuff like that with people that are 101 years old, 102 years old. I've been seeing that. And so the question becomes is like at what what kind of, again, it goes back to what I was talking about with your HSA, your investments and stuff. If you're retiring at say 65, 70, and you're living till you're 100, that's damn near 30 or 40 more years worth of money that you need to have set aside. And so now the question becomes is, what are you going to do with that, right? What are you going to do with that, right? So those are things you all have to think about. Thank you for the $50 donation. We appreciate you all. We appreciate you all. You have to. We have to understand, like, our life expectancy is longer, so we're probably gonna work a little longer because we got a longer life expectancy. But that's why I say I'm talking about it now. Is if you're going to be if we're gonna have this long life after retirement, what does that look like? How much money do you really need? How much money are you all really putting away, right? um, Let me tell you something. Something I thought about. I thought about doing. I thought about, how they have 55 and older communities. I thought about making a singles community, like and have uh little bit a big some wide open land and uh uh little small tiny homes in the community and a farm. Because here's the one thing, that people fail to realize, right? The longer that, and I don't think people fail to realize this, but there's just certain things you just not gonna do every day. Yeah, we could have an age restricted. We could do that. I mean, we could do that, but here's what I was thinking. Right? Here's what I was thinking: the singles community. You got a farm over there. You would have chefs, so the chefs make your food, have your food fresh, prepared every single day. No type of cafeteria setup. I don't want that set up. That seems like herding sheep. I don't want that set up. But I want to be able to, like, you have a multitude of maybe about 5 or 7 different restaurants, and you have guest chef flown in one restaurant. You have a vegan style restaurant. We have a dessert type of restaurant. You don't even worry about furnishing the house or nothing like that. You have a select set of styles that you pick from, for the house that you want to have set up, right? And you pick a pattern. That's what the spec will be for that particular house. Like, if you want, whatever style, we give you that. And you don't worry about cleaning it. You got somebody that's gonna come clean it, right? You got it all set up. Right? like let's be honest. Most people who are single are not getting up every day, cooking. Yeah, like little villages, right? No, you're not getting up cooking every day. You're not getting, yeah, golden girl, golden boys. That's what I was thinking. You could go to another country, but let's just be honest. Not everybody's gonna move to another country, especially if they have, if they're like for me, it'd be hard for me to move to another country and my mom's still alive, right? And me having to check on her, like that's not fair to her, in my mind. So some people are not gonna leave their family, even though they have the option to, right? Yeah, we have golf carts, restaurant, all in your single village, all in your single village. No pressure. You ain't no pressure on anybody to date. You just there. You living life. You cool. Y'all making money. You have our own bank. You have you come in like you come in. So back to JM's question, but we have no estate, no date. The thought process behind the no estate, no date is this: every time I get on the internet and every time I'm looking at these dating sites and dating shows and stuff like that, the first thing every man always says is, I'm not going to get married to somebody who's going to take half of my stuff. And I'm not going to get married to anybody who's going to do X, Y, and Z. So to me, you eliminate all of that, by saying, hey, go put all your stuff in an estate before you get married. In fact, you should even do that anyway. Just truthfully, um, put your stuff up into an estate, right? And the whole concept behind no estate, no date is I'm not dating a guy who don't have no estate. I don't want to hear nothing about how you're not trying to get married because somebody gonna take half. In fact, the estate trumps over the prenup. So I mean, you ain't got to do all that prenup stuff. Like, no, my stuff is in an estate, and I actually talked to an estate attorney. Actually talked to an enrolled agent about. I actually talked to a couple of attorneys about this just to make sure I'm not crazy. There's no loopholes. No, the estate protects all of that. That's where that comes into play. So, um, you can go get your prenup, but you need to make sure that's set up correctly and so forth, right? But you can avoid all of that and put all your stuff into a state. I think every man and woman should have their own estate. I think everybody has worked hard enough, and you don't if you don't feel like splitting your stuff, then don't split your stuff. If you want to split your stuff, then split your stuff. Do whatever works for you. But if you don't want to, you have the option and the right not to. It's just what it boils down to. And so, so it's you can't blame you can't say somebody's gonna take half of your stuff when you have rules and things in place to help protect that. That's just what it is. That's what it is. Down to earth, you said, I really want to move to another country, but I don't want to leave my sister solely responsible for my mother's care. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one wants to do that. No one wants to leave someone behind. Um, but not your loved ones, right? That's just what it is. All right, so let's get into the show. That was my mad. That's not a mad rant, but that was a rant. That was just my thoughts on looking at things like what do we do with people, right? How do we get people motivated, um, and in the mix, right? In the mix. So what I got for you today. All right, so here are the 10 best U.S. cities for new grads to start a career in. And they are not New York or L.A. They're not New York or L.A. So let's get started on this. This came out August the 27th at 9 o'clock this morning. All right, fresh off. All right. And what they're saying here is, for new college grads, the best cities in the U.S. to begin a career aren't coastal, they're in the Midwest, according to recent rankings that has St. Louis at the top of the list. Now, ironically, about St. Louis, I've been looking at, I think his name is Sam. Is it Sam Fetterman? Sam Houston? He's a guy on YouTube. He invests in St. Louis. Sam Faster Freedom. I think that's, yeah, Sam Faster Freedom. He's been featured on Bigger Pockets as well too. He was a tech guy. And he went from making he had a good salary. I think he was making anywhere from 2 or 300,000. But he left tech and now he's invested in St. Louis and he's made over 40 million in St. Louis, right? And there are other people that are invested in St. Louis as well too, right? Um, I think Black Heights is invested in St. Louis as well too. Black Heights, the one that on YouTube that talks about um, sales, tech sales, right? So the recent ranking has St. Louis at the top of the list. Since college grads tend to earn less earlier in careers, the analysis by insurance provider Insurify ranked cities in the U.S. by employment opportunity and affordability, as well as transit costs and livability. So St. Louis is number one, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Rapid City, South Dakota, Pittsburgh, it's just Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Lincoln, Nebraska, Portland, Oregon. I don't know about Portland. Fargo, North Dakota, Fort Wayne, Denver, and then Tampa, Florida. And Denver, I could see, and Tampa, of course, I can see. So what are you gonna find in St. Louis? You will find some tech. There are some tech in St. Louis, and there's some colleges in St. Louis as well too that are nationally known. Portland is another area where you're gonna get some more tech. Pittsburgh, I don't hear a lot of tech coming out of Pittsburgh, to be honest. Minneapolis, absolutely, but then you got to deal with the cold Weather. Denver, you're gonna get tech. Fort Wayne, Indiana, I don't know. Fargo, North Dakota, yeah. You're gonna get some stuff out of North, but you gotta deal with North Dakota. And yeah, these are the top cities. What would I choose if I was a I don't know, it depends on my background, right? But I probably would look in out of all of these places, if I'm a kid and I'm like 19, between 18 to 25, I would look at, depending on what I like, I would put I would reverse this and put Denver and Tampa as my number one and number two. Portland, depending on your love for social life. I think Denver and Tampa offer more of a social life than what Portland does. I think Portland, I gotta go find it, right? That's just my experience with Portland. I gotta go seek it, right? Um, yeah, Denver and Tampa is what I was going with. Down there, I live in the Midwest, and I was looking to move to Indiana, Michigan, or Wisconsin, depending on where at in Indiana and Michigan and Wisconsin. Follow the money. I tell y'all all the time. Let's look up economic development. Um, let's look up economic development for St. Louis. It's their number one, right? We're an economic development team which serves St. Louis right here. St. Louis, Nanjing sister cities availing at Ballpark Village. LCRA receives a 1.9 million in supplement funding to continue to clean up at brownfield sites. Boeing invests 5 million in manufacturing and innovation center in St. Louis. So again, why is Boeing putting 5 million into a manufacturing and innovation center? So are we talking no code, low code? Are we talking more manufacturing coming back to the area? What are they doing there? What is Boeing looking to do? Who else is invested into this area? So, all right, just off the rip, right? This is just off the rip. South County Trucking Company receives subsidies for new headquarters. So, a la carte LLC, a certified and immigrant-owned trucking, got a subsidy. This is in July 14th of 2022. Let's see what else we got up here. Who we are, what we do, innovation, Promise Zone, World Trade Center, workforce development, loans, new market tax credits. That's what we want. All right. So let's blow this up. New market tax credit. The Heartland Investment Fund provides financing for to projects in distressed communities through the federal new markets tax credit. Heartland is a certified development entity that seeks to reverse decline in the greater St. Louis metropolitan area's most distressed communities by leveraging neighborhood redevelopment and rebuilding in its industrial base. While the fund serves St. Charles and St. Louis community in Missouri, it is also available to Bond, Clinton, Madison, and St. Clair, and you can get more into it there. St. Louis partnership awarded, STL partnership awarded $50 million tax credit allocation. Um, Anheuser-Busch Credit Union spans, that's from 2018, right? So let's go back over here. Opportunity zones, right? That came out in 2017 for them. That's been out for a while. But what's this brownfield remediation funding? The term brownfield means real property, the expansion, redevelopment, or the reuse, which is complicated by the presence and potential presence of perceived presence of hazardous substance and pollutant, right? So getting somebody to come in to do that, and yep, you got EPA grants down here and so forth. So if you can get a team together, go in and help clean that stuff up, know how to work with hazardous materials, or even help someone find contracts such as this to help them clean up that area. That's another one. We got what we got here on incentives, and then we're gonna look at global connections. Grow your business in St. Louis. Or the blah 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 relevant teams, and they just get their list of teams there. But what's the global connections? Go global with the World Trade Center, St. Louis, and St. Louis Mosaic project staff, global connections. Your company can grow and effectively compete on a global stage. The World Trade Center, St. Louis, is part of an extensive global association with more than 300 similar organizations. Its overall goals is to enhance international trade, promote local economic development, and foster, right? So again, you got different incentives going on in the economic development, with economic development stuff that's happening in St. Louis, right? So those are the kind of things I would be diving into in St. Louis, right? Trying to figure out how to uh, come up on whatever's happening there, right? And that's for every city. I would do that for every single city, right? And then they have the who we are, business development, business finance, mosaic project, promise zone, new real estate and then real estate and community investment, right? Moving projects forward, right? Equitable economic development strategy framework release. This is their 2020 vision, so I will read up through that. USDA to relocate to downtown St. Louis office. Benson Hill expands its business and grows jobs in St. Louis. Right, so I will be looking at all that for all the cities that's on this list right here. I will go look at economic development for every last one of them, and then look at the real estate in those areas. Look at the A-rated schools in those areas. Look at companies that are in those areas, and most definitely look at the business journal for those cities as well too, if there is one for those cities. And then when you do all of that, you put all that together and, for me, make a mind map of that, and then that's going to tell you one a couple of things: investing in that city, living in that city, things that you can implement and see, create your vision, right? We always talk about being a big fish in a small pond, and this is just another way of doing it. Plus, St. Louis, so what's St. Louis? What do they got sports wise? They got the Cardinals, right? St. Louis sports. What all they got? All right, so St. Louis, we know about baseball, so it looks like they got a soccer team, um, Milwaukee Brewers, Kansas City Royals. Let's see, you got that. Let me see who else. Kansas City Royals. What else y'all got for basketball? Who's your team? I don't even know who the teams are anymore. Y'all got no. Yeah, but I need. What's the name of y'all basketball team in St. Louis? I lost track. Y'all have a basketball team? Basketball St. Louis. Y'all have a basketball team? I didn't think you did. I think y'all are all college based. Yeah, it look like y'all maybe all college based. So college based. What's the big school? What's the big college out of St. Louis? I know St. Louis has a um they have a engineering school. Um I can't think of the name of it. It's like their sister school to their partnership school with like if you went to say a HBCU, they're one of the partnership schools. So St. Louis Engineering School. Yeah, Washington University in St. Louis. That's what it is. That's the one I always see. This one. Washington University in St. Louis. I always see this school. That's the one I always see. Founded in 1854. That's the one I always see. Yeah, this the one I always see. Yeah, that's the one I always see. Oh, casino, right? So big fish, small pond. All right. So here's another thing that I saw right here, and this is something I talk about all the time too. This city saw the highest net migration in the U.S. It's not Austin. It is Huntsville, Alabama. And I told y'all about that $20 billion that was going into Huntsville. I told you about the $20 billion that was going into Huntsville, right? So let me look and see if we can find. Let me see, 20 billion into Huntsville. Let me see if we can find that article again. I know it's posted in my Slack. I forgot to pull it up. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let me find that. Who's moving into Huntsville? Yeah, but you can see this stuff just automatically come up. The $20 million grant will help. Huntsville family makes 20 million gift to UA. Um, 20 million grant for Sky Bridge. 20 million federal grant paves the way for Huntsville's Sky Bridge. Right. Um, 20 billion. Huntsville should do federal. I'm gonna have to go on my thing and find it. All right, so here we go. 166 infrastructure projects awarded billions in federal funding. Um, pull that down. Let's go. Huntsville. Yeah, a long waited project linked to the city of Huntsville. Isolated highways and waterways was awarded 20 million. So that's one of the ones they found. Um, and pull up over here on my tablet so I can share it. But a lot of people are reloading. I think it was space. I think it's Space Force. Right? Space Force. Um, Huntsville. Yeah. Space Command is to move from Colorado to Alabama. Right? They're moving from Colorado to Alabama. Right? And Colorado is like, we don't want to miss out on that money. I know they don't. Don't want to miss out on that money. It's a lot of money. Let's see. Yeah, that was back in May. And let me look it up here. And then that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to do a search on my tablet. And I couldn't do a search. Let me see. It won't let me search that way. I gotta figure that out. Now I come back to it. Let me go on my other tab here. Let me get that out. Sorry. I'm not sure what you all see right now. Hold on, let me leave this screen. You should still be seeing this one. All right, so let me do this. Let me do my hunt on it. I had to come to my web browser. Here we go. Huntsville. Let me pull that up. Okay, here we go. Here go one right here. Um, and let me bring this one over. Right. Not only do you have Space Force, right, but you also have this one too. The FBI is adding a brand new $1 billion campus in Huntsville, Redstone Arsenal, bringing in 3,400 jobs by 2026. So, FBI is putting in 3,400 jobs. What does that mean to you? Hopefully, that means you know that somebody got to eat, somebody got to go out, somebody got to have somewhere to live, somebody got to have food. Somebody got to have schools. Somebody got to drive cars, have a way to work. That's what that means, right? And that's in Huntsville, right? So when we talk about where you're investing that real estate wise and what does that look like, these are the things that I'm talking about looking for. These things here, right? So let me blow this one up. Says people are moving out of state. Rental applications increased 42% between 2020 and 2021, according to TransUnion. Americans are paying an extra 4.8% in rent this year, while cities like Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington have seen increases greater than 30%. At the same time, more Americans have the freedom to move than ever before. According to 2022 survey from McKinsey, 35% of Americans have the option to work fully remote. And most of the digital nomads are tired of getting ripped off by the high cost of living in their home cities. The latest migration report from rent.com shows that renters who live in major cities in the west and northeast are looking to relocate to more affordable areas of the south and midwest rather than renew their high price leases. This, of course, will have an ever evolving impact on real estate markets. Using data from reports, investors can make informed decisions. So look at this map, and I'm gonna blow this up so you can see this map. So look at this map. Bring it down some. All right. So here they're saying understanding migrations. So here we already know people are migrating, but this right here is saying showing you here using the data report, investors can make informed decisions. Blah 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 blah. Right. So look here, 9.23% minus 9%. Like people getting out of Georgia, 2%. But look up here when you start getting up here, South Dakota, North Dakota. Look at that. Look at that. And you already know what's happening in Wyoming. If you don't know what's happening in Wyoming, you need to go look up that episode we did where we talked about Dow, and we start also talking about the billionaires who are investing right up in this little corner. Up in here, it's a little corner that they're investing in. Again, Tammy said Atlanta is full. Um, Atlanta been full since the '90s, but they ain't never stopped people. Atlanta been full since the Olympics, and they ain't never stopped people. People still keep coming. But yes, when we start looking at these states, you can see, where people are not moving to, right? Where they're not moving to, right? But you could, New York minus 34%. We out of here. Illinois, we out, right? But you can look at the map and see, right? North Carolina, they're leaving. But some stats say that people are moving into Charlotte. But let's go. Let's look at this. Let's read this. It says, where renters are leaving. Where? It says renters are initiating outbound inquiries in some areas where rents have risen the most in recent years. The following metro areas had the highest outbound delta: Charlotte, St. Louis, Chicago, Austin, and Atlanta. Now the question is this, right? And this is something I always have. What are you moving for? What are you moving for? Because eventually the where you're going is probably gonna be high. I mean, eventually it's gonna get there, right? So the question is, do you keep moving or do you increase your skills so you can be anywhere anytime? And I get it. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can increase their skills. Not everybody can be have the flexibility to do that. Not everybody can have. Everybody doesn't have the wherewithal to do that. Um, but you got to ask yourself, especially if you are of able mind and body, and able to know what's and see what's going on. Where are you going to go that is not going to increase? Rent is high across the board. Food is high across the board, right? And see, for those leaving Chicago, that's the part of the reason why I invested in it. For those who can't afford rent and mortgage in Chicago, it's really close, right? While these aren't the most expensive places to live, they are all places that have positive migration, positive appreciation, and overall increase in rent in recent years. Notably, Austin saw an average rent for a one bedroom more than double in the course of a year. Of course, rent prices aren't the only factor. People may be leaving St. Louis for more desirable locations, considering its ranks on the list of the most dangerous places to live in the U.S. It is known for a low-ranking education system. The rampant snowstorms in Chicago last year were enough to make anyone flee. There are individual reasons for moving as well, but the data shows a clear relationship between high cost of living and outbound migration. In other words, it ain't worth the squeeze. It ain't worth the squeeze. The following states saw the greatest number of renters inquiring out: New York, Illinois, Colorado, Georgia, and North Carolina. New York, Illinois, Colorado consistently make rank on some of the most expensive states to live in, while Georgia and North Carolina are more affordable. Where are they going? Huntsville, Alabama, Tri-Cities, Tennessee, Virginia. I don't know what is. I don't know what is Tennessee, Virginia. I don't know what that is. Biloxi, Gulfport, Mississippi, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Springfield, Missouri. Right, and they got a migration map right here. Let me bring that back down. Oh, do I need to make that bigger? Oh, come back. Where did that little thingy go? Oh, I can't get it back on the map. I hate when the maps do that. Hold on, let me refresh my screen. All right. You can see that migration map right there. Outbound migration, like out of Texas. We're like, shh, we're going out. We're getting out. All right, let me scroll back up to see if the other one came back up. It says Colorado. Okay, here we go, right here. You see that right here? We see that outbound right here, right? Most of these cities brought in leads from larger metro areas. For example, Tri-Cities leads mainly came from Nashville and the metro area. Knoxville attracts current Nashville residents, while Springfield draws inquiries from Midwestern metros like Chicago and St. Louis. State level trends were largely similar. Illinois renters looked at rentals in Illinois and neighboring Midwestern states, while North Carolina and Georgia inquired about places in the South. Most New York renters saw apartments in New York or New Jersey. Colorado was a bit outlier. Renters were divided between moving to other areas of the state and getting out of the West. A good chunk of Colorado renters looked for apartments in Missouri, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Kansas, Texas, but 49% wanted to stay in the state. The following state had the highest inbound leads: Delaware, North Dakota, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Mississippi. I'm not moving to Mississippi. How migration impacts the real estate markets. Typically, when people are migrating into a city and moving out of it, the demand for housing increases. Sometimes growing cities can accommodate the demand to an extent before the prices start to rise. Delaware. Sometimes growing cities can accommodate the demand to an extent before the prices start to rise, but often supply can't keep up with the pace of the demand. So prices rise in areas that were getting more popular. When that happens, residents start to get pushed out of the area to nearby cities with more affordable housing. Right? So how does this help you with your what we talk about here, right? With your investing strategy, right? No, understanding these migration plans and where people are moving into. Like they say, take your little 10,000, right? Take your money and go buy some real estate, buy a house, buy some land, buy something, and go from there. Um, while I was here, I didn't even take a video of it. I had a camera and everything, right? I was looking to get some clips of, because I rented a GT3, right, while I was here, because I was like, everybody keeps saying like, if you gonna get a GT3, a Porsche GT3, it's gonna beat you up, and you're not gonna like it, and you're not gonna be able to ride in it, and you're gonna feel like you've been doing burpees getting in and out of that car. So I got it, and I was riding around in it, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm beaten up. But the bucket seats do, you know, hurt if you got some thighs on you and you got some hips on you. You do have to throw your legs over the bars in order to get up out of the car. Right? It's not easy to get in and out of, but for the most part, that's fine. So why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because I looked at how these guys had their fleet setup and what they're using and what they're doing. So we got to talking and we got to talking, me and the guy, because he picked me up from the airport, and we got to talking about cars, houses, and real estate and so forth. And he's invested in real estate, but he's like, honestly, he's making more on the cars than he is in the real estate. I said, is that right now, or is, what does that look like long term, and so forth. And he was like, he was like, he was like, other way it goes. He was like, if you just do both, you're gonna be winning. So I'm saying to you, whatever you think your investment is, your investment strategy is going to be, or whatever you're pondering about, stop. Just do it. Right? Just go do it. Right? I'm not telling you not to do anything blindly. Of course, do your research, but how much more research can you do? How much more looking can you look into? Like at some point, you just got to do it. And I find that a lot of people are very scared to just do it. I get it. You don't know if you got the money to do it, right? You like, if I do it, I'm a fail, or if I do it, it's my last hot 5,000, so it gotta hit. It don't have to hit anything. It don't have to hit anything. But I'm saying I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of not taking the leap, right? But I'm also guilty of just taking the leap. I'm probably more of the, like, I'm gonna deal with the consequences later person than anything. I don't know. Let me ask D. Am I more the I'll deal with the consequences later person? D is like, yeah. Don't know what grade. Yep, yep. Drop some trailers. Yep. I mean, at this point, I mean, what's the hold up? Like, let's play. Let's do that. Let's be devils. Let's play devil's advocate today, right? Let's go to Zillow, or let's be nice. Go to Redfin. Go to Redfin. Mm, Let's be nice. And let's look up St. Louis, right? Um, and let's look up. Let's just do land, right? And then let's sort this by. Let's go high to low. I'm just curious, right? So 1.1 million for 13.38 acres. Let's go to Street View. Why do you give me the option to do Street View and then you don't want to show it? All right. So now the question is, what is the zoning on this? It looked like it should be residential, because this looks like residential all around here. All right. So now let's go read it. 38% home, blah blah blah. All right. So let's blow this up. Right. 13.87 acre lot is perfect. Opportunity for new development site located in North County, St. Louis, Missouri. The site con 3 parcels, 13 zone R3. Yeah, residential. Site lends itself to single family subdivision. The site is mostly level with 600. So now you got to ask your question: how much it costs to build? Right? Who can build in that area? Who can build in that area, right? So that would be something you can look at too, right? All right, so let's go back. I always like to look at the land first, then I go look at the houses. All right, all right. Let's see what we got. 549, 419. This is all land. I don't know why this little lazy ad keep coming up here. 315. What do you get for 315? What do we get now? Do you get just this? Because it's all behind a wall here. Do you get all of that? Welcome to the largest undeveloped lot in the heart of Solert. Note the 65 foot of front road frontage, 148 foot 8 feet brick wall across the building line. This land is also completely fenced in. Soil testing and all abatement, all existing structure has been completed, and with sets and drawings, continue reading. This lot is zone G, commercial, and potential to build residential, retail, or even both commercial or first floor and apartments above. The possibilities are endless. Let's see. Let's look at the photos. What do we got here? See, I would have questions. Where does the line start? Does the line start right here? And what else is in this area? And do I get this parking lot? I'd be having questions. And what's going on in this area? What y'all doing over here? Can I throw up me, I'm like, is it any food in that area? Is a food desert? Could we throw a little bodega style restaurant little place in there? Could you put in a little coffee shop or something like that? 315. What are we looking at? Like, that's what I would be thinking about. Again, how much to build is what I be looking at. That's what I would be looking at. Let's see what else we got in here. What else we got? We got some empty lots here. All right, so look at this one here. This not an empty lot, but I'm always curious about this, right? This opportunity is to purchase 14 lots. It says 180. I wonder if it's 180 per, right? It says 14. And I don't know how you say that. The Bulver Place, overlooking mansions on Washington. The lots are 2 or 4 parcels at 45,000 a lot. So it's all four for 180. Lots are located near the Central West End 5 blocks. 1 block from the $100 million Del Mar Divine project under construction. Private and gated cul-de-sacs. Lots are fully improved with all infrastructure in place, including water, sewer, multifamily residential, luxury townhomes. Plans and permits for 14 luxury townhomes have been previously been approved by the city. I say you run with this one. Let's go look at it. Del Mar Court. So I guess you get all of this. Yep. So they might have had 20 lots and might have sold off some pieces of them. Who in with me? Who want to buy some lots? I got 30,000. Who? What else we need? Who want to help build? D, you down? What you thinking? What you think, D? D say thumbs up. D say she down. You all let me know. But that's just it. See, you got 10. You got 10. All right. I'll put this in the Slack. I say we go. I say we go get it. I'm sure we can find a list of people, a list of builders in there. Probably do a deal with the builder, get it built, sell them, keep it pushing. Or do we want to build and hold? D, I think you want to build and hold. What do you think? Do you want to build and hold? Okay, yeah. Build and hold. All right, so we'll grab that. We'll put that in the chat for D. Donald, you down? You know how to find us. You know where we're at. It's just that simple, right? Go do your, yeah. Hit us up in Slack. Um, when you all are looking at stuff, go look at cities and see what they have land wise, tax liens. You can look up tax liens. You can go look at different things just to see what they have, right? Right. So that's a search on St. Louis. So say migrating to St. Louis, right? What else did they have on this one? St. Louis, migrating to St. Louis. What the cities had. Here's a migration report. All right. So here we go. Next up, the rise of the robots. $100 million. Um, 100 raises $100 million and a $2 billion valuation. All right, all right. Beijing Base Geek Plus, a developer of autonomous robots for warehouses, has closed in on a $100 million Series E1 that values the company at $2 billion. Investors in the round were Intel Capital, Vertex, and I'm not sure how to say it. It's Kunji Capital Investment. Why did I mention about these autonomous robots? All right. So I don't know if you all have been keeping up with all the stuff that has been going on. Autonomous, I'm spelling it wrong. Robots for warehouses. But I don't know if y'all been seeing these things. Let me pull up these videos here. I'm just curious. Have you seen them? All right, this is one right here. And I talked about this a while ago. Let me see. Oh, you can't hear. Where's the sound? Maybe it's no sound. It's my sound is up. But we're starting getting to the point now. Even though most of the warehouse jobs, we already know we're gonna starting to become obsolete. But also, what you're gonna also start to notice, not just the warehouse, the trucks. We know about that. We also know about McDonald's, right? We also know that there is a push now for, even with the robots, the drones are starting to do more of the deliveries as well too for your food. So there will be some competition with um, not just the food delivery and your warehouse situation, but you're gonna start to see more and more of your day to day activities being not just automated, but automated robots. And I think they're seeing that in some of the airports as well too, right? Um, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, because I think like I know for me going in the Denver airport, the lines be too long for security. It shouldn't take you 45 minutes to an hour to go through security. That's ridiculous. That's gonna they're gonna have to speed that process up. People miss flights and stuff like that. People not gonna keep doing that, right? So again, we're talking about a rise of robots. So let's look at their stuff. Geek Plus. Geek Plus offers a wide array of robots to help automate warehouse space. In 2021, the company realized annual revenue of 150 million, more than 300 million in orders. It said in its release. Thanks to success of implementation of global business strategy, the transformative value of our products, and the surge of smart logistics market, Geek Plus is well positioned to further capture the outside growth opportunities. So let's look at Geek Plus so you can see some of their stuff. go here. Let's type in Geek Plus, right? And here's a peek at their automation stuff. It's funny. The other day, I was just looking at a warehouse for storing your car parking garages. They look just like Geek Plus. They basically you roll your car into. I have to find that video. You roll your car into a slot. Picks the car up, takes it and parks it, and it wasn't like three or four stories. It was like 5 or 6 stories. Store your car up there, and in fact, you had a little tag, and so for valet parking, you just hit the tag and put the car on a little track to take the car off, and take it where it needs to go. And when it's time for you to come outside, when it's ready for you to go, you just do the little tag again, and it pulls down your car, right? So again, we're parking automation as well too. Um, that's car parking automation. Let me see if I can see that system. Is it this? It looks similar to this, but it wasn't this. That one was 4 years ago. It looks similar to this, but this one, the guy just walked up to it.
Growing cities all around the world encounter problems concerning space for car parks. A land of 1,400 square meters can fit only 67 cars. You need to increase land size by 6 times just to put in a reasonable 400 cars to each commercial building. Or you can build a regular multi-level car park on 1,400 square meters of land, but that will only hold 210 cars. What you need today is an automated valet parking system that can double the capacity of a regular multi-level car park. Its integrated self-parking and security system makes it safer as well as faster because all movements are computerized, while saving you money on land acquisition and keeping more of the world's precious resource green. Enter Simatech Automated Valet Parking System marketed by Takashimaya. First ever in Malaysia, Simatech is deployed in the upcoming Times Avenue Executive Office building. The car is driven onto an automated platform which is started at the swipe of the parking card. The system's computer will instruct the lift to transport the car to the best available position while taking into account other ingress and egress requests in the queue. The process is quick and safe and saves the motorist hassle and time. In this case, the car park is a narrow multi-level building with limited bays on each level known as lift parking. The system can be designed to fit huge basement-type car parks with a more sophisticated technology called the transfer device system. Robot trolleys built into the automated platforms haul the cars from the platforms to the bays and vice versa, doubling both speed and convenience. Here again, the system's computer has full control of the delivery of cars to and from the bays to cut down time and increase efficiency. Yet another system is role parking. In this complex design, a host of automated platforms are suspended on multiple levels, serving a core platform for ingress and egress. Speed of parking and delivery is maximized with the multiple platforms processing parking requests simultaneously. The rotating core parking design marries exceptional capacity with limited land area. Being cylindrical in shape, more bays can be created while the core platform rotates its way up and down the car park, bringing in and delivering out cars in every cycle. As in all the designs illustrated, a simple swipe of the parking card is all it takes to get your car delivered back to you before making a safe, hassle-free exit.
So now we automate the parking. We don't worry about all of that stuff. We You don't have no valet park. You're not waiting at the place for somebody to come down to bring you your car. You don't have to worry about nobody driving your car. You don't have nobody running off to get your car. You swipe it and your car just is delivered to you. You can't ask for nothing better than that, right? So again, when we're talking about automation, you got to think, okay, well, who's going to maintain these systems? Who's going to keep things greased? The maintenance on these, making sure they're calibrated correctly, they're doing what they're supposed to do, um, checking on those things remotely. We don't have, that need to have that. You may need that at the restaurant, but if the restaurant is attached to a building that has this type of service, why wouldn't you just use that? So again, that that valet parking type of thing that goes away, right? That goes away. All right. So next thing up that I wanted to talk about here was this one. I don't know why the screen is not coming up on this one, but I posted this in Slack. Let me see if I can pull it up again. This is the one with the girl who got the young lady who won the government contract. I posted this the other day. She won a $28 million contract. I don't know if you all saw that. And I wanted to talk about it. So I always want to talk about opportunities, right? Things that we can do ourselves. Let me grab that, pull it up. Yeah, it came up over here. I don't know why it's not coming up on this one. Right here. All right. CEO closes $28 million contract, government contract. It's the way to go for Black entrepreneurs. We Eric Coffin has said this before, and he'll say and say it again. Put my blockers on. And his statement was, if you want reparations, government contracting is your reparations. That is his motto. Um, all right. The lack of funding prevents most businesses from staying open long enough to be profitable. We still know that for government contracting, I mean not for government contracting, we still know for VC funding, most minorities are only getting 2% of the billions or the trillions, right? I don't know how much longer you got to keep fighting for 2%. Like that's not even that's about as bad as a bank giving you on your money in a savings account, right? It's about as bad as a bank, right? So you do better doing something else, right? The lack of funding prevents most businesses from staying open long enough to be profitable. Government contractor offers opportunities for entrepreneurs to secure mid to long term contracts that will guarantee cash flow. It takes about 18 months if you really start doing getting into government contract. It takes you about 18 months to get your first contract. But once you get in the system, you're in the system. Get in the system, and then deliver. In 2014, cybersecurity expert Lon Ford co-founder of Arlo Solutions, a professional services company that provides cybersecurity and management consulting to the U.S. government for with her business partner Arlene Wooby. I guess that's how you say that, eh? In 2021. The company, led by Ford CEO and Wooby President COO, generated 8.7 million in revenue. Arlo Solutions partners with companies like Booz Allen, Deloitte, and Accenture to deliver services to the government agencies. And this year, it secured $28 million in a government contract. Ford, who grew up on the south side of Chicago, joined the U.S. Air Force at 19. In addition to serving her country, joining the military guaranteed her shelter, food, and opportunity to learn new skills. At the time, she needed to find a path of financial hardship she experienced growing up. After 10 years in the military, Ford graduated college, moved back to Chicago, worked in retail banking for less than a year before realizing it was not for her. She moved to DC and intended to start a government contracting company to pay her bills. Ford started working for companies doing government contract work. That's how you learn the ins and outs. When Ford and Woob started Arlo Solutions, they knew very little about government contractors. They spent 2 years educating and building connections, and before securing their first contract, building connections by going to the conferences, by going to everything that comes up in our Slack with Fed Scoop and all of that. Those networking events. Uh, uh, Talking to people like Eric Coffee, you're talking to your local reps and stuff for getting your capability statements built and putting you in the room and places with other people. That's where you're getting your government contracts from, right? You're getting your government, and you're gonna have to partner with somebody. You're not gonna be able to do it by yourself. That's just what it is. All right. So let's continue. We went into offices and knocked on doors for 2 years. Back then, there was not the same level of access to information. We didn't even know how to Google for the right information because we didn't understand the terms, the lingo. Ford shared why now is a great time for Black entrepreneurs to get into government contracts, and her best lessons to succeed in this space. Right? Why should you be getting into government contracting? Because that's where the money is at, right? It's just where the money is at, right? The U.S. government largest purchaser is the largest purchaser of goods and services. In 2020, it spent $600 billion on goods and services, according to the White House. This is public information. You go look at where they're spending, where the government is spending money at, and who's doing what and who needs what, from mass to somebody cleaning up the park, somebody washing trucks, airplanes, to somebody just delivering stuff, delivering food, redoing the gym parts, somebody securing a contract to. We need a new update of Microsoft Office, so there may be a contract out there for somebody to go look up and get a quote for Microsoft Office. It's just stuff like that, right? The Biden administration asked agencies to increase contracting dollars to small disadvantaged STB to 11%, a 6 point increase compared to prior years, with objective to reach 15% by 2025. But this administration took it a step further and more closely looked at the percentage of government contracts going to SDB. The data revealed that less than 10% of the government contracts go to small disadvantaged businesses. Only 1.7% of the government funding or government awards were going to Black-owned businesses. So this administration started putting in executive orders to force these government agencies to give contracts to Black-owned and other minority-owned businesses. Another one that comes up that comes to mind is Space Systems. They're based out of Tampa. They just won a government contract for 100 million. I wonder if it's on their site. We'll see if they got it on their site. Yeah. So Space System wins $100 million contract. This came out June 27th, 2022, supporting joint special operations. You can read more here, and I'll show you those people that are over there as well too. Located at Florida's MacDill Air Force Base, the Joint Special Operations is designated agency within U.S. SOCOM, which conducts joint special operation forces education, teaching relevant, realistic, leading edge education. I've worked with this team before. Let me see if I can show you the team. Here's Mark Clifton, Aaron Hurst, and Adam Hurst. I've worked with all three of them. And then here is Darren Williams, Roger Jones, and Russell Volts. I have not worked with these guys. I have not worked with those guys. Arthur Cooley, Brandon Balls. I know Brandon. And I guess Demons Morgan, but I know Brandon. Brandon comes from another world. I know Brandon. He came from somewhere else. But again, when we're talking about your government contracting in the world, it is a matter of connections. It is a matter of getting to know the people that are in this space. Thank you for the $5 anonymous donation, Ali Boo. Thank you. All right. Um, so let's go back here. All right. See, this happens all the time. Like you click off the screen and it goes away. I don't know why Black Enterprises is doing that. It's so weird to me. All right, let's get back to the article. All right, here. Yeah, okay, so the Biden Harris administration is asking agencies to increase contracting dollars to small disadvantaged from 11%, and within the objective to reach 15% by 2025. But this administration took it a step further, and more closely looked at the percentage of the government contracts on STBD, blah, blah, blah. They're setting quotas and holding agencies accountable. They're also holding large businesses accountable for working with small businesses. Rules and policies change each administration. The government is providing amazing opportunities for small businesses that we're looking over. This is the first time they provided data. These policies are our preparation, our reparations. Being your Begin your journey as a government contractor as a side hustle. Ford suggests spending time to educate yourself. I'm not here to promote Eric Coffee, but I will. Um, you can go to Amazon.com. You can look up Eric Coffee here. He's actually giving away some books. Look, go here. Not I do not want Eric Jerome Dickey. That is not who I want. I put Eric Coffee Billion. Hopefully the book will come up. Or I don't know why his book doesn't come up, but either way it go. GovCon Giants. We'll go there. I don't know why the book don't come up. Anyway, so you go to GovCon Giants podcast, 8A application. He has a boot camp as well too. And he's written a couple of books as well. I had his books in my thing, $1 billion something. He's written two of those books. So let me look. Let me do this. Let me see if I can just do Eric Coffee, um, government contracting, and then let's see if we can find. Oh, it's with an IE. That's why. His is GovCom Academy right here. There's Eric right there. Um, and so you can check out his YouTube. There are plenty of people out there that talk about government contracting. He's not the only one. He's the one I'm most familiar with. There's a couple of ladies that talk about it. I'm trying to find his book. So let me. I can try to do that. Okay, here it is, right here. GovCon Launch is his latest book, right? The GovCon Launch is his latest book, right? Oh, you don't find it on that page? Why? I wonder if he took it down. Here, the $1 billion playbook, and then GovCon Launch is his stuff, right? And then he's got, of course, his podcast and so forth and so on, right? So you can go check him out. There's also a couple of podcasts that I listen to. Um, I'll tell you the name of the podcast. And also, again, doing business development is another way to get into government contracting. In other words, if you see a company isn't utilizing their certifications to their fullest extent, say AA or what have you, you can get in there and start helping those companies out with get securing their government contracts by introducing them to people, setting up and responding to RFPs, BAAs, OTAs. You'll learn all this in government contracting and so forth. And sometimes it's just a matter of just talking to people. Some people just need help and they just want somebody to come in and help them out. They don't have time to do the business development side. So they need somebody to come in and help them out, right? So that's just another way to get into government contracting. Let me check my time here as well too. See what kind of time we got here. All right, we got some time. We got some time. Let me get back over here. All right, so I don't want to spend too much on that, but I wanted to get that out there. Um, Engineer Karen said, "Do you think more government contracts with big margins, especially in tech and construction focused contracts, are no, we're not bidding. We're not even in a. We're not bidding. We're not replying. Most of the government. I mean, this is just across the board. It has nothing to do with race. For most government contracts, most for the margin for the government contracts, I think they say only like 20% ever get responded to. So even if you just went through and started just responding to government contracts, you just might win. You just because sometimes people don't even respond to it, right? People are not even responding to the contracts. Imagine that, right? People not even responding to the government contracts. All right, so I did want to mention this. Social Security payments are projected to see the biggest jump in over 40 years. What does that mean? That means that um, uh, those that are collecting Social Security or about to collect Social Security will see a pay increase of $160. It says every year Social Security checks get updated to account for inflation measured by, based on a measure called consumer CPI, Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. CPI. While it's a mouthful, this cost of living adjustment, or COLA, simply takes the index average figures for July, August, and September and compares them to the same period the year prior. The number came in at 9.1%, 0.6% higher than the headline inflation. This year, benefits will raise 5.9%, a potential for major increase. I hadn't seen once in 40 years. The offset to income, if the benefits were increased 9.6%, retirees would see on an average a monthly increase of $160 next year. However, most Americans pay tax on a portion of their Social Security income. The net boost to spending power will be lower. After being hit with a staggering 14.1% increase in Medicare Part B premiums this year compared to 2021, the cash influx could come as a welcome relief for some retirees. The good news is these premiums are not expected to go up until 2023, right? So those that are retiring and you're collecting Social Security, you're gonna have a raise in Social Security. Alabu says, I bought my daughter a year of Tinker so she can gather a fun, but found it. Yep, yep. I'm going on a journey as well, so we can. Yep, yep, yep. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You all good? I get you. All right, so that's that one. Let me see what else we got because I know I got a lot of other stuff. Let's pull this over. All right, so drop a one in the chat if you want to know about buying businesses. I'm gonna pull this over here too. Hmm. All right, so we're gonna roll into businesses. I'm gonna finish this little real estate part off right here, and then we'll roll into some businesses. So what I wanted to show here was I was looking at books and I was trying to figure out what all the different books for tax strategies because I'm gonna end up talking about this in a minute. But here, this is a book on investing in real estate with no money down. All right, short-term rental, long-term wealth, the multifamily millionaire, the birth strategy, um, rental property investing, raising capital. Like they got a whole list of books again, advanced tax strategies and so forth. And I want you all to be aware of these. Everybody has a different strategy. Some people do small, some people do tiny homes, some people do RV parks, some people just buy land, some people buy land and let people hunt on it. Some people buy land in the mountains. Some people do getaways. Some people do luxury getaways. Some people do just small, quaint, unique getaways. Some people build uh, bed and breakfasts, right? And then some people buy land on golf courses, right? For the experience, right? It's all about the experience. So again, you have to figure out what your strategy is going to be, not just in real estate, but just your overall strategy of gaining more assets. And then what are you going to do to acquire those assets? And then defining what assets are. You ought to know at least what are assets. If you're not familiar what assets are, you can go and look at Investopedia for what those assets are. What is classified as assets and the different asset locations. I mean allocations, I should say. Right. So let me find. I have my business right there, but it was one more thing before we dunk off into this. Oh yes, this. This goes back to my earlier point, my earlier thing. So I was looking at the money guy, right? And people were asking this question like if the power of starting young, say you're on track to be a millionaire by the time you're 65, but what if you get started late and they ask, well, what how much of a lump sum would you need in order to be a millionaire by the time you're 65? So those that have kids, right? Say you got a 1 year old right now, and they're saying if you put in a lump sum of $1,700 into an account and keep that money invested and keep not into a savings account, you need to put it into an account that's gonna make some money, like um, and keep reinvesting by the time that kid is 65. at a minimum they'll be a millionaire at a minimum. We don't know what they'll be at 18, but they're just saying at least at a minimum. But for us people that are a little older, say if you're 25 and you're watching, you need a lump sum into an account of 22,000. 22,708,000, so 23,000. For those of you that are 55, you're gonna need half a million. So this is why I say they say invest early so that money can make money. If and look at this number. I just want you to pay attention from 45 until 55, it doubled. So if you're at 45, you should at least be investing now. But look at how big that jump is from 45 to 55. Just in 10 years, it doubled, right? If you are 35, you need about 80,000. If you're 40, you need 136. I'll put this PDF inside the Creating Wealth channel. You can go look at it, or you can go to the Money Guide and look at the resources and download this PDF yourself if you wanted to. But I just wanted you to give you all some ideas on numbers, because a lot of people ask, like, if I haven't started investing and I'm 22, um, and I put in a lump sum of money because maybe I get my tax return, right? Or maybe I did an investment, or maybe I got a sign-on bonus. This is where that sign-on bonus comes in at. Can I go take that money and just dump it into somewhere and let that money make some money for me? And you can. You can do that. The question is, what are you going to dump? How are you going to allocate that money? Are you going to play the stock market? Are you going to just buy Tesla stocks? Shout out to those that actually uh, got the stock split for Tesla this week. Shout out, I see you. Or are you going to invest in Apple? I can't be mad at Apple. Apple is returning me 30% right now. I'm gonna buy some more. We talked about this on the show before about DCA your way in, or buying fractionals. It's $5. It only takes you $5. You know how far $5? You know you can go, instead of going to instead of going out to the club, and like the guys, like I been saying, some of the guys say they just go to the club just to be standing on their phone looking at Snapchat. You could just be standing on your phone. You could be at home, just like, let me make this investment into a little Apple stock here. Let me go on and do that. At least do that much, right? So just giving you a FYI on that. All right. All right. So then let's get into what I said we was gonna get into. Let's talk about buying a business. All right. So let's first open up with buying a business from an SBA perspective, right? This is from an SBA perspective. Know the difference between franchising and buying a business. Before you decide if one of these options is right for you, make sure you know the basics of franchising and buying a business. So a franchise would be McDonald's, Chick-fil-A. You're buying the licensing, right? You're buying that licensing. You're buying the brand name. So here's the flip side of this, right? You could create a business that becomes a brand, that becomes that you then turn around and sell the licensing for your model for what you have. So you could do that, right? But you gonna give up some time and effort to create that, but it's possible, right? The main difference between franchising and buying an existing business is the level of control you'll have over your business, right? Some people are very don't care for don't some people don't care for structure, some people need structure, right? A franchise is a business model where one business owner, the franchisor or franchisor, Sells the right to their business, logo, name, and the model to an independent entrepreneur, the franchisee. Restaurants, hotels, service oriented businesses are commonly franchised. Two common forms of franchising: product, trade, name franchising, and business format franchising. Typically, the franchisor offers services like site selection, training, product supply, marketing plans, and even help get funding. And that's on the business format side. On the product, trade, and name side, the franchisor owns the right to the name or the trademark of the business and sells the right to use the name and the trademark to a franchisee. This style of franchising normally focuses on supply chain management. Typically, products are manufactured or supplied by the franchisor and delivered to the franchisee to sell. Right? Buying an existing business gives you more control but less guidance. That's what I'm saying. So like your Chick-fil-A, again, they're providing a structure, they're providing a formula that works, they're providing this brand, this entity, this name, versus you buying a business. You're buying the business, but you're also buying the customers as well, right? So again, buying existing business is exactly what it sounds like. The buyer typically takes over full ownership of the business. The largest advantage is having an existing blueprint that can include important factors like an established customer base, defined operating systems, and fully trained employees. Regardless of the business type, almost any kind of business could be bought or sold. Everybody has a price. Consider three factors from before franchising or buying a business. Quantify your investment, consider your talents and life skill, and review the full landscape. It takes work, it takes effort. You got to look and see what the competition is, what other people are doing, how they have been operating. Did they keep good books? Have they paid their bills? What do they owe? What kind of debt are they in? All right. Those are the things that you want to be on the lookout for, right? Pick the right franchise or existing business for you. Know your skill, know your limitations. Know your limitations. Once you know whether you want to buy a business or a franchise, you'll need to evaluate each specific opportunity. In short, it boils down to do your due diligence. Your research should help you understand the business from a financial standpoint and the overall landscape. If you're interested in franchises, you should explore any existing reports, associated rules and regulations, and contracts. If you're interested in buying a business, you want to look into the license and permits, the zoning requirements, the environmental concerns, the value of the business. Is this what I was talking about? Do they keep good records? Again, tangible assets, the balance sheet, the value of the specific intangible assets method, the cash flow, the excess earning method, and so forth. So we're getting ready to roll into a video, and then we're gonna talk, and then I'm gonna roll back from that video, and we're gonna go to some websites, and you're gonna look and see like you're gonna look at a business, and then you can look at and see how to analyze a business, right? This is just from straight from the SBA perspective. Now we need to look at it from somebody who actually does it, and what to look at. I was doing some research this week, and again, it goes back to that model that I've been talking about with car washes. A lot of private equity funds are buying car washes. It's a simple model. It's such a simple business, right? I don't care if you have an electric car. I don't care if you have a car, a motorcycle or whatnot. Everybody wants to have a clean car, right? Or be able to have access or the ability to get a clean car. Q4 the glass. Thank you, welcome. Uh, no, I got porch glasses, so I rode around with my porch glasses when I remembered to put them on. I was bad about that, but I did have them. I had to see the road. All right, so let's get into the video. I'm pulling it over now.
So if you've ever thought about wanting to run a pool business, maybe buy a pool route like this one, buy a pool construction company like my friend Xavier, we're going to go meet with one of our actually cash flow members who went into Contrarian Cash Flow, joined our group, and then bought a business, a pool route business, and turned it into 6 figures in a year. One of my favorite businesses for college students, people fresh out of college to buy or to build. Pool cleaning services. Not a lot of money to start it. And I see them all the time, like this one, that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And these businesses you can then sell. The idea here is reoccurring services businesses to nice neighborhoods like this. And you hire people to do the work and you manage the logistics of having subcontractors underneath you. So let's go talk to a guy that did just that. Huh? Check it out. Look at this door, fancy. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause right there. How many of y'all had ever cleaned a pool? How many of y'all had ever cleaned a pool? How many of y'all had ever cut lawns, cut grass? Right? How many of you have washed cars? These are the little simple things that you can do around neighborhoods that you can buy or that you can actually create value in. Like if I try to get my car washed with this guy in Florida to come by my house to wash my car, it's a whole month. I have to wait a whole month in order to get the guy to wash the car. A month. Who want to sit there with their car dirty for a month? That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
You guys, I just had like one of those moments, you know, where you just kind of want to take a pause or a snapshot of it. And one of our Contrarian Cash Flow members, which is our group at Contrarian Thinking, reached out and said they wanted to meet up, that they bought a business because of all the stuff that we talk about. I'd never met this human before. We're not in the same state. You know, he knew my name, I didn't know his. And yet the ideas that we're putting out in the world not only allowed somebody to retire from a business by selling it, but also allows somebody else to take that business, grow it, hire a bunch of people, and, you know, better their lives. We stole into somebody's backyard. Door was open, to be fair, Brian. So there's that. But we did because I wanted to understand about this pool business, pool cleaning. How could you make a business out of the thing that I hate to do and my husband gets stuck with? And that's why we got two gents who are going to tell us about that today. Well, first of all, who are you? Why would you buy a pool company?
You know, I had a solar company, and so I've actually worked with a lot of pool guys. I sent a lot of referrals to them. And as I started learning more about the business, I was like, this is actually a really good business. You know, there's recurring monthly service. It just kind of fit into what I was doing already. And I just like the business model as well.
How did the structure and deal break down? Did you buy this business? Did you start this business? How much money did it take? And when did it start making you money?
So we found it on Biz Buy Sell. It was a guy who he was retiring. He's had it for like 4 or 5 years. And then basically we just reached out to him. I think he was asking like $57,000. It was 78 accounts, which is actually a pretty good deal. Accounts usually go for about $1,000. He was selling them for about $750. So we're like, okay, this isn't bad. So we put an LOI in, put some, earnest money down, started doing our due diligence. And then probably like a week before we were about to close, I said, would you be willing to carry it? And he was like, sure, why not? So I was like, okay. So the initial ask was,
all right, willing to carry it, right? Because I know a lot of y'all looking at 57,000. I don't have 57,000, right? To buy the business, but you got to remember you can actually probably go to the bank and get the money from the bank to buy the business, because the business is already making money, and then you can show where there's room for growth, right? If he knows that that he can increase the cost back to his customers. You know, if there's 750 a customer, and when I'm saying 750, he know he can push it up to 1,000, right? And push that up to 1,000, and then or at least move it towards 1,000. And so therefore it's earning money. So the bank will be like, oh, it's a profitable business, right? So it's room for growth there, right? So then he's like, the seller would carry or seller finances, meaning when the owner of the property finances the loan for the buyer to purchase the property, right? That's what that means, right? All right, so get back to it.
We'll put down 30 and you carry 27. There was a little bit of negotiation there. And so we ended up doing 35 down and then 22 he carried is like 8% over 3 years. So that worked out really well for us. He was trying to get out of the business. We inherited his techs and we closed on the business December 1st. And so we've been running it for, man, it's May already. So it's almost like 6 months now. It's crazy.
Two of my favorite words. Seller financing. You can even do them on small deals, which I think is really cool. I mean, this deal is less than 100K, 57, 58K, right? And the seller's willing to carry $35,000 of it because probably there's not a huge market for people that want to buy this business and think they can grow it and do the logistics for it at that small of a scale. And so sometimes you can actually do more sellers financing at the small end than you can at the larger end where some of the bigger players play. So I think that's really cool. You own a solar business and you thought this business could be additive, basically.
Yeah, exactly. With the solar business, right, we're always looking for ways to help customers save money on electricity usage. Out here in Nevada, the two biggest users of energy are AC and pool pumps. So one of the things we do for them is, hey, let's make your house more energy efficient. Let's put in a variable speed pump that'll save on your money. We'll do a little bit smaller of a system, but we build a more efficient house for you. So that's how we did that process with them. And that differentiated us.
All right, so let's look at this. Pool businesses to get to real profitability need add-on services like fixing pools and building them in solar, right? So again, basically he took what he was already doing and combined it this is the value I can add to your home. I can make sure that your energy goes down, right? Your energy that you're spending goes down. I can also then make sure that your pool 1, 2, 3, 4 is heated year round, right? And on top of that, I can make sure that it's clean, right? So you get one-stop shopping with me. So and if I want to do that, I can then turn around and sell this service. A bundled service as a package back to your neighbors in different neighborhoods. And then now we got word of mouth spreading, right? Again, he's creating basically the brand where he can now take this, and sell that as well too, right? I've created the brand. We do solar and we save you money and we make sure that your pool is set up okay. Oh, and by the way, instead of your pool being electric, it is on the solar panels, and we can ensure that works, right? And I'm not saying that everybody's going to do this. I'm just giving you the business aspect of it, right? And the play there. And not only, you got to also look at he probably has a targeted neighborhood that he's looking at, a targeted price point for a neighborhood, right? He's not looking at the houses that are, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. He's probably looking at houses anywhere from 300-ish and up, right? That's probably what his target is. He's got a unique target. And then the other way, like I've been looking at how people how things still work. People are still using direct mail. Valpak is another one where they just send a whole bunch of coupons in the mail and they ship them out, and people still get it. Go through there, search through there when it's a need, and they use those coupons or that service or that 20% off or whatever you're offering at that time, because is a need. They need to get something. They have a need to get something done, right? We're not gonna finish this whole video, but I did want to point this. I just wanted to point this out.
From other solar companies would just go out, sell a solar system. We tried to do a little bit more value add for them, and they saw a lot of value in that.
The part that I think is cool about this is I like to think of buying businesses like little satellites that go around my main thing. And so it sounds like you have a similar philosophy. So you got your main thing of solar, and then you buy these businesses that go around it that you can use some of your same staff, systems, processes. You have efficiencies of scale that you add to the one business by acquiring another one. Now, you could just acquire the pool business straight out, but I think a lot of people don't realize that they do this other thing and they could do acquisition alongside of it. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, we looked at mailbox one. Yeah. We looked at a logistics company, but then finally we decided on the pool one, and so we found that route. I knew a little bit about SEO, and so when I started doing a little bit of research, there was a big opportunity there for us to build a good website and start getting leads organically that way. I knew that he owned a marketing agency, and he's also a realtor.
We actually already had a full website up and going because marketing agencies will do a bunch of just random websites to test different things on so you don't screw up stuff with your clients. So we already had a full website. We've already done all the research around that. And so when he came to me, I was like, how about we partner in this and we'll just do the work. We've done all the work already. We'll build a whole new website. We'll actually do close to 60,000 words of content, and we'll rank within 6 months.
So the plan is you grow through SEO. And the way that you do that is you spin up a better website because usually all these small businesses have websites.
So the key is doing the research first to make sure that the actual search volume's there on Google for it even to make sense. So, our agency probably turns around 70% of the business that comes to us just because the search volume's not there. And we wouldn't feel right taking their money and not being able to give them a phone call. So you do the research first, you make sure the search volume's there. And then once it's there, which it's obviously there in a lot of service-based businesses, then it's a formula on how to beat the competition.
All right. So again, research. So my first question to everybody in the audience is what skill sets do you have where you can look at buying a business, right? So the one, and we only got like a few minutes, buy, sell, flip, I think that's what it was. I looked at it this morning because I was looking at a business. I just messed up what he said. Let me look at it. I think it was buy, sell, flip. Hold on. I think it was it. Don't give me the line. Hold on. It's back here somewhere. It's right in here.
It's because of all the stuff that we talk about. I'd never met this human before. We're not in the same state. You guys, I just had like one of those moments, where you just kind of want to take a pause or a snapshot of it. And one of our Contrarian Cashflow members, which is our group at Contrarian Thinking, reached out and said they wanted to meet up, that they bought a business because of all the stuff that we talk about. I'd never met this human before. We're not in the same state. He knew my name, I didn't know his. And yet the ideas that we're putting out in the world not only allowed somebody to retire from a business by selling it, but also allows somebody else to take that business, grow it, hire a bunch of people, and better their lives.
I think it's buy, sell, flip. Let me see. Did you capture that? Because I didn't. I forget. Yeah, biz buy sell. Is it biz buy sell? Let me look. Here we go. Yeah, I was replaying the same thing because I was trying to go back to the thing. All right, so here's the website. Blow this up a little bit so you can see under the caption. And it's got seller finance business, home-based businesses, franchise opportunity. You want to go into gas stations, hotels, warehouses, car washes, laundromats. Laundromats and coin laundry is always something, right? So here you can come in. They got one startup at 29, contact, whatever. Somebody's selling something for 700, one's 150, a tutoring center, They tell you the cash flow under it right here, right? 3 laundromats, so forth. You know, there's one. You can come back over here. Delete that. We're just gonna let it search. Then you can come up here and you can come and define what you want here, right? You can come and do retail, boat, building, construction, manufacturing, service businesses, right? Um, you can do established asset sales, so forth, whatever. You can do your price range. If you want to do a max of 50,000 and apply, right? There's a pool route in Plano. Another set of pool routes. Here we go. Pool routes look like going about 50. All right. I didn't pick pool. This is what came up under 50,000. A maid service, ATM route. 8 ATM locations in Fort Worth, all high end. 5 hotels, 2 in the shopping plaza and stuff, making 20,000 a year net, excluding time and gas. For sale for 33,000. Buyer must join ACFN ATM franchise program, and go from there. If you just want to just have find somebody that could go and make sure these things are stocked and doing what they're supposed to do, and go from there. Uh, if you're interested in buying Dickie's Barbecue, you want to buy a cleaning service, um, another laundromat, another pool. You want to buy a mail and shipping place in Stratford, Texas, in San Antonio. Let me see. Let me get out of Texas. Let's go. Good, all locations there. You can buy Remax, and then I was also looking at some buildings that was some buildings as well too. Some people that just buy commercial real estate. They just buy commercial properties. That's another thing that people are into. They just buy commercial properties. So again, when you're looking at what your options are and where you're going to invest at, again, that's another thing that you have to be held responsible for, but that may be something that you're into. You may not want to start from scratch. You may just want to go ahead and just buy something that's already working and just help increase the fun of it, right? So I just want to give that to you. I still have more. I know we gotta show it at 2 o'clock. um Then talking about time to cut it. Then let me tell me time to cut it. I know it's time to cut. I was cutting at 1:30. All right, so we'll see y'all in 30 minutes. We may actually have a special guest. I gotta go see if the guest is gonna be ready. And we'll be back. See you in a minute.